Hey, what's up, Twitch, and happy Wednesday, and welcome to another rousing episode of Patch Notes. My name is Ray, also known as Ray Apollo, and today I'm not joined by my good friend Zach because he decided to go be a good friend to his other friends, but instead I'm here with my very good friend, Dan Clancy. How you doing, Dan?
Good, Ray. I'm here for you. I want you to feel supported and appreciated. I have a lot going on, but I said, no, I have to hang out with my good friend, Ray.
You know, I really do appreciate you being the one to be like, you know what? Everything else is, not as important. I'm going to hang out with Ray. Unlike Zach, which I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
That's great. I'm in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I'm in Barcelona. I'm on my laptop. I'm in my laptop. I brought my good mic and my good camera, but I've got those screens busy. It's 10 o'clock here, but I said I gotta be there for Ray.
You know, I'm gonna always remember this. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. I'll always remember this. But hey, chat, Dan's also here for you. And if this is your first time tuning in, hey, welcome to Patch Notes. It's our monthly show where we take the important changes and releases over the past month, we consolidate it into one stream, and we also welcome in Twitch staff as guests to talk more about the products and changes that they are working on. So, Dan, you said you're in Barcelona. What else has been going on? Where else you been?
I am. I'm moving around. I'm making my way to TwitchCon. And I started in Madrid. And I'm now in Barcelona. I'm going to Andorra. The sequence takes Andorra, Montpellier, Cannes, Milan, Zurich, Munich, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, Rotterdam. And doing streams in all those locations. I did a boxing stream today with Strain, which was a lot of fun.
Missed that.
And I'm doing some streams this weekend. So they're keeping me very busy.
It sounds like it. Jeez. Well, one day we'll have you back on, U.S. soil. But, in the time being, have a great time because I'm sure you will. And we'll be able to watch some of those adventures.
It's me busy because I basically, I'll visit with streamers during the day and then I come home and I'm on conference calls with U.S. time. So,
Busy man. Oh, yeah. God. Well, hey, Dan, we do have a lot to cover today, surprisingly. But you know what, chat? Don't forget, we want you to be involved because this is also the show for you, by the way. It's not just for me and Dan to hang out. So there will be a Q&A session at the end of the show. So send your questions directly in chat. You can do that by using !ask before your question. And chat, I'm going to be very, very, very straightforward. So you just type in !, which is Shift-1 on the keyboard, and the letters A, S, and K, and I need you to add a space. The space is important, okay? And then you type your question. So then the folks behind the scenes can grab those beautiful questions and make sure they are ready for us to have answered in the Q&A session. Okay, Dan, I've given the housekeeping. They know what to do. So today's episode, we wanted to make sure that we start off right. Okay, so we're going to welcome back our friend Mike Minton, the Chief Monetization Officer, to talk about the latest sub-pricing update. What's up, Mike?
Good to be here. Big show. Kick it right off with everybody's favorite price increase.
Great to have you, Mike.
I was just going to say, you're the favorite.
You're leading us off, Mike.
Good.
Mike, why don't you start by just introducing yourself for anyone who does not know what you do at Twitch?
All right, Twitch. I know many of you know who I am. I am Mike Minton. My entire job, my entire existence is helping streamers make more money at Twitch.
See? Simple, sweet, to the point, but very, very important.
Good job. Good job.
It's a huge job. All right.
It's just a little awkward with Dan as a host. Oh, by the way, like Dan the CEO, here I am.
You haven't been on one where I'm a host yet, Mike?
Well, we've kind of like done a show together. This is a little different where I'm like, a guest and you're one of the hosts. So it's a little fun, different dynamic.
Oh, don't worry. You get used to it, Mike. You get used to it. I know I did.
Don't worry. I won't mock any of your answers. Or
fact check me on the spot or correct it or reframe it. Yeah, all those things.
That's true, because I can't do any of that. But you know what, Mike? Last week, we contacted subscribers and streamers in over 30 countries about a price change coming July 11th. There's a lot of good information there, especially was in that email. But can you tell us the key details that we had in that email for everybody?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So we are raising prices beginning July 11th in 30 countries, and that includes most of the EU economic region, which is the vast majority of those countries, and the US, and a few others like Mexico, Brazil, etc. All the details are in a blog post. As was said, like when the price goes up, we've notified subscribers, so no action will be required. There's a few very, very minor exceptions in specific locations, but for the most part, automatically renews at the increased price. Now, if you hear nothing else today, there's two myths that I hear consistently in the social sphere. One is Twitch is pocketing the entire price increase. Not true. That is not what happens. Streamers will earn their rev share at the increased price. So that's really important to understand. Both recurring subs, gift subs, streamers will receive more per subscription. And I'll repeat that. Streamers will repeat more per subscription. Twitch is not pocketing the price increase. The other one's Turbo, just, oh, by the way, which we'll talk about later. Streamers do earn a share of Turbo revenue, which is another second untruth. But anyway, back to sub price increases. We're not changing tier 2 or tier 3. Right now, those will remain the same. And we're not changing mobile yet. Mobile, in terms of iOS and Android, will happen later, probably in a month or two. And then when we do that, though, you'll get the same notification at least 30 days in advance. So those are kind of the key points. But again, I'll repeat, streamers will make more money.
I mean, that's what I like to hear. Streamers will make more money. So hey, I'm about that. So thank you for clarifying those things for us.
Yeah. So and so, Mike, why don't you jump right in and talk about the why in terms of why are the price increases and why in these places?
Yeah, well, let's start with the price of everything has gone up everywhere. Everybody knows that. Twitch subs were launched, I believe, in 2011. There has not been a price increase. We did decrease prices in certain markets in 21. And you know, your dollar, your yen, your euro, they aren't going as far as they used to. So we're updating prices to help streamers keep pace with rising costs, and in some cases to reflect currency fluctuations. So that's the difference between what a US dollar converts to in different currencies. But for the most part, it's really all is about rising costs.
Yes. Man, somebody in chat just distracted me. Oh my goodness. Well, Mike, this is something that I know is important to a lot of folks, because whenever we start talking about money, people have a lot of questions, which is very valid. So what should subscribers know? Like, what do they need to know about the price increases?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things here. Like if for some reason that this doesn't work for you, you can unsubscribe at any time. You can go in. We don't make it hard. You don't have to call anybody. You simply can go in and go to your subscriptions page and set it to do not renew. But they will renew at the new price. No action needed if you want to continue supporting and being a member of the community that you're part of. There's a couple of notes I think are important, for people. The discounts remain on the 3-month and 6-month subs, and we won't change the price until they renew. So if you want to lock in at the current price, you can do that. Subscribe for 6 months, you get 15% off, and then you'll maintain that price for the next 6 months. So that's something else to keep in mind for those that are, being really mindful of the costs here.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's for the subscribers. Now we want to also talk about the streamers here. So we want our streamers to feel the same level of support, but we're mindful that viewers should only subscribe when they're able to. As I'm sure your streamers have told you, you only subscribe when you can, okay? So they've got to take care of themselves first, but what should people do if they need to change their subscription right now?
Yeah, just go to your subscription page, find it. You can always upgrade, extend, renew at any time, or do not renew if that's what you want to do, cancel. But your benefits will continue until the expiration date.
Gotcha. Really straightforward. I appreciate that genuinely.
Hey, we got a lot to get through today. I can't be here adding a lot of work. This stuff's pretty simple. We're raising prices. You want to opt out, opt out. You want to subscribe for 6 months, subscribe for 6 months. Like, this is not the time for fluff.
It's true.
All right.
And I certainly appreciate that, honestly. Now, we talked about subscribers and what they should know. What should streamers expect with this update?
Yeah. The important thing is make more money. The increased revenue per subscriber is important. Now, any price change has impacts in terms of behavior, but we rolled this out already in certain markets earlier this year, a couple of months ago, UK, Canada, Australia, Turkey. So we have data, and we can confidently say that streamers will make more money. And, that's obviously important for them in terms of sustaining their live streaming efforts. We've looked at, just getting ahead of a question, do we see this impacting Plus program eligibility? We do not, but we will continue to watch that very, very closely because we know that's really important to streamers to continue increasing their sub count so they can get access to increased rev shares. So we've looked at that. And then, just again, repeating that streamers, if you're in the Plus program and you have a 60-40 or 70-30, you will receive the net rev share at the higher price point. So, again, it's generally positive for streamers across the board. They'll earn more money. Plus program eligibility is not impacted. We've done, by launching it early in a few countries, it allowed us to confirm and ensure that what we were doing was going to be a net positive change for streamers.
All right, Mike. So now talk about what else we're planning for the future quickly.
Yeah, coming soon between now and the end of the year, we're continuing to obviously invest in more money. We got an amazing announcement coming here later in the show on a new product. I won't spoil it. We have some gift bundles. We want to we realize how important gifting is for the community, and we have some experiments we're coming this year in terms of helping drive more excitement, promotions, discounts, etc. around gift bundles. And oh, by the way, there will be a September, so we'll have more to share on that in the coming weeks, actually.
Oh, wow. All right then.
Okay, we got a lot to do, Mike, so we'll have you back for questions. Remember, ! Ask. And now on to the next topic.
Yes, because there's a lot of questions coming through from Mike, so be sure to stick around for those. Up next, we're bringing back Jeremy Forrester, the VP of Community Products, to chat about a few, and when I say a few, I mean it's a lot, important updates. Welcome back, Jeremy!
Thank you very much for having me. It feels like it's been far too long since I was last on Patch Notes.
It has been a while. Right. That's right. We have a lot of old, a lot of veterans to the show returning today, which is dope. So welcome back.
I love the purple lighting. I feel bad that I'm so bright and white,
I can't say the same, but it's a very nice place.
Spoiler alert, I'm in the office, so it's the office lighting.
He's using my streaming room because, in general, that room isn't used as much as we would like it to. So glad you're in there. All right, Jeremy. Viewer controls. What do we know about updates there? Why don't you jump right into it?
Yeah. So my first topic, viewer controls. So last month we rolled out 2 new features to viewers, content filtering and blurring. The intent was to help give viewers more control over their Twitch experience. Our goal with these updates was to make it easier for you to have an experience which matches you and your preferences, and we believe that Twitch should be a welcoming place for everyone. But that means that everyone's viewing preferences may differ a little bit, and some content you enjoy may not be a good fit for other people. So this was built on top of a product we call content classification labels, which we launched last year. Content classification labels enables streamers to add one of 5 classifications to their streams, and it informed viewers before they clicked through to watch what type of content was in the stream that they were going to see. Now, with the launch of the filters and blurring, you can now choose to hide any content classification label so that streams with those labels won't be recommended to you. They won't show up when you browse categories or search for content. But, important call out is if you follow a streamer, we'll continue to show their stream because we believe that, that's very important. Even if they are labeled with a CCL that you've chosen to filter out. And for everyone, if people go directly to the channel page, they're still able to watch content in full.
All right.
I appreciate the
now
options.
talk about the filtering. Talk about the filtering, some of the defaults.
Yep. So with the launch of the filtering, we updated some of the default experiences across certain viewers. So if you're under 18, based on the age you give us when you sign up, content labeled with sexual themes, drugs, intoxication, or excessive tobacco use, violent and graphic depictions, and gambling will be filtered out by default. And additionally, content labeled with sexual themes or gambling are filtered out for logged out viewers. These settings can always be adjusted and changed, so you can go to your content display preferences, which is located under your profile settings, and logged out users, that's for logged in users, and logged out users can choose to hide or show all labeled content. but they will need to actually create an account and log in to get a full set of like granular controls. With the new content blurring feature, you can now blur preview thumbnails for content that is labeled sexual themes. Its blurring is on by default, but similar to the content filtering, you can go into your preferences in the content display preferences and turn it off or turn it back on. When the feature is enabled, thumbnails of content with sexual themes will be blurred when browsing categories or viewing recommendations on the homepage or searching for content. But similarly, if you follow a channel, we won't blur a thumbnail, so you can easily see what your follow channels are up to, even if a sexually themed CCL is applied.
Like, genuinely, I really want you to know I appreciate these options. These are good. These are good. So, Jeremy, what else do folks need to know here about what you've just brought to us?
Yep. So, as a reminder, one of the pieces is all content that meets one of the criteria for content classificables should be labeled appropriately. So, labeling content is really important. It allows viewers to make informed decisions about what they want to watch and what they want to see. It also helps advertisers better target where their ads show up on Twitch. And just, as a reminder to streamers, as a failure to correctly label your stream will result in a warning. And if you have repeated failures, it can lead to a label being applied to your channel that's non-removable, that you cannot take off. That label could remain on your account for a period of anything from days to weeks to indefinitely. So as a streamer, you should always make sure you have read our content classification guidelines and the articles there. They understand the policies to determine whether your stream needs a CCL or not. And as always, if anyone has feedback, viewers or streamers, about these features, please let us know through user voice. Pay attention to it. It's a great place for us to collect feedback.
All right.
Love it.
Jeremy, so we still have a lot to talk about here, right? So I know Ray is very excited to talk about clips. It's one of the things, and we have some other stuff after that. So why don't you talk about clips now and what we're doing to help our users with clips?
Can do. So on to topic number 2 from me. So exporting clips from Twitch to social platforms plays a really important role in reaching new potential viewers for you, and also bringing back existing community members back to your channel. It's really important for you and for Twitch that they see your content frequently when they're using other applications. Generally, we really want to try and make this easy, and when we've spoken to streamers about why they don't share more clips, we've heard generally 2 major things come out. One is they don't feel that they have enough good clips to share, and 2, we've heard that it's just too time consuming to take a clip, edit it and share it onto social media. So throughout the year, we're going to work on, addressing some of these pain points. And I'm going to talk about a few things today, a couple of updates coming to the Clips ecosystem that hopefully should make it easier to create clips for mobile, identify some of your best clips, and more easily share them.
I mean, this is all music to my ears, genuinely. I mean, there's a running joke that a lot of the changes are things that I've asked for in the show, which, I mean, coincidentally, they are. But this is a huge one, and I'm very excited. So, let's get started. Let's tell us what's happening, Jeremy. What else do we got coming?
All right. So first, we are going to be updating the clip creation flow, combining kind of clip creation, editing, featuring, and sharing into one end-to-end flow. So this, you can see in the image, this is the image of the web experience. Once you create a clip, we're going to be automatically generating a portrait version of that clip. So when viewers click the clip button, we're going to generate a portrait version, and these portrait versions of the clips will be shown on mobile surfaces like the Discovery feed, as well as on your channel page when you look for clips on the mobile device. Viewers can then easily, if they need to, edit the crop of the portrait version. So if the initial version doesn't look good, they can go in and further edit it. And due to popular demand, we're going to also let you change the aspect ratios of the various boxes for creating portrait clips. This has been heavily requested, so you'll be able to edit those aspect ratios to really kind of create the clip that you want to show. This has been a massively requested feature since we launched the clip exporter last year. We're also introducing an updated Clips Manager experience. So this is the streamer-facing experience where they can manage clips. So you'll be able to see both the portrait version of your clips alongside the landscape version. And then within this manager, you'll be able to go there and continue editing clips or retrim them or change the portrait crop. So if a viewer created a great clip, but you don't like the portrait version, you can go in and change that after the fact. And you'll also be able to change the title of the clips on your channel, even after the clip has been created. So you'll be able to go back in and kind of retrim, recreate the portrait version, retitle it if you need to. And those are the big changes.
All right.
Huge changes. I love these.
Yeah, I can tell you myself, I'm very excited about these changes. I think, I know for me, when I stream, one of the challenges is if I don't create clips and share them before my next stream, then I never get around to them. It's just too much. And I can tell you, I streamed today and tonight, I'm like, oh, I should make some clips. And I think the improvements to clip editors make a big difference. I know you're going to talk, you have some more to tell us about that, but I just wanted to say I love these features. So why don't you keep sharing? Because I think you have some more that you wanted to talk about here, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So second, in order to make it easier for you to identify the best clips for sharing and exporting, with this update, we're going to be making a change that requires users to actually click the Save Clip button in order for the clip to be saved. So for those of you who aren't aware, historically, the moment a viewer clicks or a streamer clicks on the clip button, an initial clip is created. Then if they go on to edit the clip, trim it, add a title, and save it, a second clip is created. And then when we looked at our data, 76% of those clips created on your channel come from that initial click, and the remainder are the ones which have actually been edited and titled. And those ones which are edited are generally the ones that get the majority of views. So changing this is going to remove a lot of the incidentally created clips, leaving just the ones which have intentionally been created for you to sort through easily. And then we're going to be rolling out these changes in two parts. First, the updated Clips Manager, and then the updated clip creation flow. So we're going to start with rolling out the Clips Manager to all streamers over the coming weeks. We're doing this to allow streamers to be able to view their portrait clips and re-edit them long before viewers start creating portrait versions. Then we're going to start rolling out the new clip creation flow to a small percentage of users before rolling it out to everyone, hopefully later in the summer. We're doing this because we really want to pay attention to just the amount of clips being created and the quality of the portrait clips being created, and just make sure that's a great experience for viewers and streamers. The updates are going to come to web first, but we are working on bringing these updates to mobile as well.
Again, very exciting.
And one thing
if you can see the chat, they're very excited, just like me. Go ahead, Dan.
One thing I'll say that I encourage everyone that I try to do, I think as you edit clips, I think sharing on stories is a great way to get your community that wasn't there to see the clips and start the process of sharing them, because personally, I find that's the most useful thing in stories, that if I'm catching up with somebody that I didn't see, I get a snippet of what happened in yesterday's stream.
Yeah, which is nice. I do appreciate that, especially when I'm kind of like going through and be like, all right, yes, let me see who's live. But then I'm like, oh yeah, let me see who posted, which is also great. So, Jeremy, I know that this has been a marathon for you. You need to take a sip of water, breathe a little bit, but we need to keep you around for one more. So our last topic, let's talk about one of our other favorite updates here is the mobile app and the feed updates.
Yep. And so I know this is one thing that we're jumping in before the questions, because we knew there are folks that'll have questions. We announced the update to the mobile feed, and about 5% of users are using it. Jeremy, talk about the feedback, what you've received, and what you're doing in response to the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, appreciate everyone providing us feedback through user voice and through other forums. We've been looking at a lot of it. The number one piece of feedback we heard from people was frustration that the app always autoplays the video, even when you've turned autoplay off in settings. I wanted to firstly just acknowledge that our team has been working on this since the experiment launched. And I'm happy to let you know that we published a fix for this on iOS on 6.10, and we expect a fix for this to go out on Android next week. Another piece of related feedback we heard from a lot of people was the desire to have the ability to mute the feed so it doesn't open with volume and with sound on when you open the application. Our team is currently working on that as well. We expect to have a mute setting in place before we roll this out to more users. So we're really working on that as well as a setting for people. The last thing I wanted to quickly address was just, the general sense of the feedback that it's more difficult to find channels you follow and quickly access the content you came for. So one thing I wanted to just shout out is you can still access your follow channels. It's still accessible in the homepage of the app through what we call the following drawer. And that can be you can access the following drawer by tapping the heart icon at the top of the feed. So this is something we're also paying attention to the feedback. We're also making sure that users understand, that they can get to their list of followers really, really quickly. And in general, we're keeping a really close eye on user voice. So if you have other ideas or feedback or bugs to report, please share them in the super thread in user voice. And, we're going to keep paying attention to those.
All right.
Excellent.
That's exciting. I know I've been using it. I love it. Now I'm biased. But I can tell you when I've shown streamers and played around with it, they've really liked the fact, and I think it's critical that we are continuing to evolve our mobile app. I think it's going to be really important for the future. So thank you, Jeremy, for that update.
Yep. And Jeremy, again, don't run too far because we need you for the Q&A as well. So hang tight and we'll see you soon.
I'll be here.
All right. Well, that was a wonderful, long update from Jeremy, which I really did appreciate. But hey, chat, Dan, this would not be, one of the best episodes of Patch Notes without an appearance by our friend and friend of the show, Senior Product Manager Trevor Fisher, who is back today to talk with us about the new moderation tools. Welcome back, Trevor.
Hey, Ray. Thanks for having me on again. Hey, Dan.
Of course.
Wow, he's in the next room. He's right next door to Jeremy. I recognize the pineapple.
That's right. I lost
Yes.
the coin flip with Jeremy, so I get to broadcast with the pineapple here.
Yes, Trevor's favorite
I
room,
like
by
the
way.
pineapple room.
Mhm.
I like the pineapple room. All
Fun
right,
fact,
moderation.
Trevor does
tool.
not like the pineapple room.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the moderation tools. What do you have for us this month, Trevor? Jump in.
Thank you. Yeah, so 2 parts this time. The first part is a recap of a launch that we had last week. This was our new chat warnings feature. So for this feature, I'd been hearing for a long time talking to streamers that in some streams, at least, people would use kind of an informal 3-strike system where a moderator would give a warning first and then timeout and then ban if it was necessary to take those latter actions. The issue is that there was no way through the Twitch product to give that initial warning, and so moderators would have to sometimes open themselves up to maybe having an interaction with the target of the warning that they didn't want to have. People could get hostile sometimes. So with this feature, we're now giving mods an official kind of built-in way to deliver a warning anonymously to people who are maybe committing some kind of mild breaking of the rules. And in this warning, you can choose to cite specific chat rules that are set in your channel that the target might have broken. You also have the ability to write a custom reason every time that you send a warning. And when you do send a warning to a user, they will have to acknowledge the warning before they're able to chat again.
Yes. Thank you. Genuinely, round of applause. This is an amazing update. This is an amazing feature. So, genuinely, thank you. I love it. I love to use. I've already set mine up, which is great. It makes my life easier.
Ray, do you have a lot of people you need to send warnings to?
Just Zach
your chat?
mostly. Just Zach mostly, but he's not here right now, so it's okay. Well, Trevor, again, thank you. But can you tell us how we can send these chat warnings to folks who do not know?
Yeah, of course. It's pretty easy. There are a few ways to send warnings. So the first is that if you click on a user's username, whether it's in mod view or just in the regular chat on your channel, then you'll see a warn button there. And from that point, you can select the chat rules as well as write a custom message like you saw the viewers saw on the screen a minute ago. The second main way that you can send warnings is through if this is a feature that you might have to turn on in your channel or for yourself as a moderator, but there are these little icons that you see on chat messages that have the ban, timeout, delete icons. And we've added warn in so that you can send warnings from that point as well. And then the third point, the third way to send warnings is we have a new chat command for it, /warn, then the username, then the reason. And when you send a warning through the chat command, then you're not able to select chat rules, but you can still write in that custom reason. Just to kind of recap, this feature is meant to be for sort of minor or first-time offenses in your channel because it doesn't carry a very heavy consequence. But you can also layer a timeout on top of a warning. And so by introducing that, we figured that, well, we have this new interface where you can make people see your chat rules, you can write this more detailed message, and it would be good to combine it so that if you when you time someone out, if you want to give them more information about why you did that, you can use the warning feature together with it there.
That's good.
Well,
I know.
that is very good.
I think most people, they actually don't know the rules of the channel. They're not, meaning to step over. And the interesting thing is, if they just have an action taken against them, sometimes they can kind of respond back in a negative fashion. Whereas I think warnings are really good because give someone a heads up, and most people respond much more positively if it's like, hey, heads up, we don't like to do that here. And like, oh, okay, good. And I think a warning will help a lot there.
Agreed.
All right. So now, Trevor, you have one other thing to talk to us about, because you always like to, to share multiple things with us. You can't just do one thing. So what do you got?
Yeah, thank you. This one. So the topic I had a moment ago with warnings, that was giving people some information about a feature that we already launched. So that one is already out there and you can use it. For this next update, I'm giving a little bit of a teaser of some work that we have coming up soon. So we recently rolled out ModView on iOS. That was in April. And for that launch, we came out with 5 different widgets. And right away with that release, we got a lot of requests from moderators who are using the mobile app. And what they were asking for more than anything else was the ability to use these channel points, channel engagement features. In this next release, which I hope is going to be coming out later in July, we're going to be adding in the ability to run a poll, as well as to start a prediction and to act on channel points reward requests. And those will all be coming to the iOS app into ModView, as well as the Stream Manager there now. And just to kind of, I feel bad because I've had a couple of these iOS announcements. We are still working on Android. We're going to be working to bring some of these updates to Android as well as soon as we can.
We still love the Android.
And just so nobody thinks that nobody thinks that the CEO has undue pull, I'm an Android user, so I'm the one always waiting and asking, Trevor, but when can I do it? Okay, and especially since I do IRL streaming, so it will be coming out. So thank you. I appreciate all the updates, Trevor.
See that, chat?
Yeah,
there are dozens of you. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for coming and giving these amazing updates. We really, truly do appreciate it. Love having you on the show, as always. But don't run too far either, because I've seen a lot of questions come in for you as well. So we'll see you in the Q&A.
Thank you both.
All right. And with that, we've got one final guest for this month. We're welcoming back Senior PM on the monetization team, Mike Suzuki. Mike, welcome back to Patch Notes.
Thank you. Hey, Dan. Hey, Ray. It has been a minute, and hey, chats, since the emote and alert days. Yeah, happy to be back and talk about power-ups.
Like, genuinely, it's been a minute, Mike. All right, Mike, let's jump on in then. What can you tell us about this wonderful thing called power-ups?
Yeah, sure. So I'm here to announce that we are launching power-ups later this week, which is a new way for viewers to unleash special effects on their favorite channels using bits. Power-ups, they're designed to provide fun and interactive ways for viewers to influence streams using bits, all while supporting streamers that they love. So there's 3 that we're starting with, and they'll be available globally to all affiliates and partners later this week. To start, the first is message effects. So with this, viewers can add effects to their messages to stand out a lot more. We're adding Rainbow Eclipse and Emote Party to start, but we will be adding more over time as well. If you're familiar with Highlight Your Message for channel points, this sort of thing should look familiar, but these are more special and animated, specifically using bits. The next one is on-screen celebrations, which will allow viewers to trigger an emote celebration that shows over the stream for everybody to see using their unlocked emotes. So let's wait for the clip to show. You can see that you're unleashing the emotes on screen, and then boom, you have that heart emote showing up on screen, bleed purple in this case, but you can choose whatever you want to show. And the last one is my personal favorite, which is Gigantify an Emote. So viewers can use any emotes that they have access to in their emote picker to send larger versions of their favorite emotes in chat. So you can see Cool Cat, you can add a message to it, and then once it is sent, then huzzah, you have a very large emote in chat for everybody to be able to see. So to join in, all you need to do is to go to the power-ups and rewards menu in the bottom left, where there is a bits icon in the chat window, and then you can do all the things I just described.
All right.
Can't
Looking
wait
forward to using it.
see some giant emotes of my face.
I
Can't
want
wait.
to see my face. I want to see people gigantifying my face. That's what I really want to see.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Living the
Dan,
dream.
it's gonna happen. Don't worry.
All right, Mike. So let's talk about setting up power-ups and what the streamers are going to have to do.
Sure thing. So power-ups will be available on the same page in the creator dashboard as channel points. Streamers can add custom images and even update the bits price of individual power-ups. And this is the first time we've really launched a product like this. We've learned that channels are unique and should have some control and flexibility over how they're used and priced. So we'll have recommended prices starting when this is launched based on the average viewer count of the channel and where you are in the world. But again, streamers can change the prices of individual power-ups if they choose. And like cheering, streamers will get 100% of the bits used as a part of power-ups as well.
All right. And so I'm excited about them getting those bits. But now tell us about your vision for these power-ups in terms of how we're thinking about them, where we're going, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we want to go bigger with bits. And the vision for power-ups is centered around investing more in making them more valuable to use. And we're doing this by creating more fun and engaging ways to use bits as a part of everyday streaming. We've been pretty tuned into how bits are already used today outside of cheering and are continuing to evolve power-ups over time, which includes expansion into mobile, more customization, and just more power-ups. So that said, we definitely want to hear community feedback. We want your ideas because we want to make these things more accessible and available to everybody. So feel free to share them. As always, if you have any feedback, drop it in user voice. And also as a part of the Q&A later, I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Yeah, I'll throw in my 2 cents. That one of the reasons I'm bullish on power-ups is because I think it'll be great for us to try and get more people that can be spending more regularly, small amounts, and it just makes the stream more fun. So I think the idea of viewers being able to do something that makes the stream fun, the creator reacts to it, and get more people involved overall in paying. I know when I've seen folks using bits and things like this through extensions and other things, they always do well. And so I'm very bullish that power-ups will be a great way for our creators to help expand who supports them.
Yeah, more ways to interact, more options, always a good thing to me. Well, Mike, again, thank you so much for being here. I hope that the next time is not so long before we have you back on the show. But don't go too far. Again, Q&A is coming up real soon, and we got questions for you, Mike. All right? Okay, Dan, what else we got?
I think you're supposed to, let's see, we've got before we move on to Q&A, we're going to talk about the Twitch Turbo free trial.
You're right. So, hey, y'all, I love Turbo. We're piloting a Turbo free trial. That's right, a free trial. If you've never used Turbo before, you can go ad-free for 7 days. During your trial, you'll be able to watch ad-free across Twitch and enjoy all the other benefits of Turbo, including extended broadcast storage and custom chat colors. I said it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this will expand Turbo, get more people involved. And so I wanted to take a moment to clarify some of the conversations we have. Namely, one of the concerns that some creators has is whether or not Turbo is cannibalizing channel subs. We look at this because it's not good for you, it's not good for us. And we do not see that. In fact, our data shows that Turbo users tend to subscribe and spend more than the average user. They get more engaged in Twitch. They spend more time on your channel. Turbo users have 20% more subs than the average subscribe and spend 2 times more than average. So overall, what we've seen is as people subscribe to Turbo, they spend more time with Twitch, they spend more time on your channel. And as they do that, then they still subscribe, because a subscription, a big part of subscription is the patronizing you and the more time they spend with you. And then actually a lot of times we see them to spend in other ways as well. I think power-ups will be another way we will see them spend. So it's something we've looked at a lot, and something we have not seen any evidence of that. Understand why people might have been concerned about that. In fact, it was one thing that we had a question too. And so that's why before we started leaning into Turbo, we wanted to do this. But we see Turbo as something that both works well for our viewers and works well for you, because those viewers then are spending more time watching you and engaging with you.
You heard it right there from the CEO, Chad. I can't say anything more. It's wonderful. So, all right, Dan. Well, we just shared a lot with chat today, and I'm sure they had a lot of questions. Are you ready for the Q&A?
I am ready for the Q&A. Let's jump into it. We got a lot of Q&A, and it looks like they're starting out with a few from me.
Yes, they are.
And then we'll start bringing on the guests of honor. So, all right, Ray, you got to ask them then.
All right, I got you. So, I'm going to say Karen. I'm sorry. I'm going to ruin some of these names, but it's okay. I still appreciate you for being here and ask questions. Hi, Dan. What do you think is the best way for an affiliate to reach out to you or other partners for planning collaborations? Yes.
Yeah, and I love to, collaborate with streamers. I always try to do quick drop-ins. When I stream, I often have them come up on stream when I'm at home, which I'm not right now. So first of all, Jay, you can feel free to ping me on Discord. Go ahead and send a message and explain, and I'll try to find time. The other thing is, if you're ever in my channel and you want to come on and you stream together, and in particular, if you're streaming at the same time, feel free to jump into chat and just ask. Now, in terms of other partners, in terms of planning for collaboration, that's one thing. We're looking at different ways that we can help different streamers find more people to collaborate with. As you know, I think collaboration is a big part of growing. I think a big part of finding collaborators sometimes is just participating in their communities, because I find streamers that when you participate in their communities, often they're very supportive of collaborating with you. This happens a lot with the Unity guilds, where they've been able to do that. And we're looking at forming some other Discord groups that will help people find other streamers with shared interests, shared passions, so they can help find collaborators.
There you go. But remember, you have to make sure collaboration, not just for growth, but also for making connections naturally with other creators. Go have fun with folks. Make some cool stuff together. All right, Dan, we got two more for you before we bring Mike on. Well, Mike Minton. I got to be specific because there's two mics. All right. Beef6 asks, with the upcoming music and DJ changes, are there any plans to bring back an old favorite? Oh, man, I've seen a lot of this on social media. Bringing back an old favorite. Twitch Sings, Dan. The people want to know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I like to be the bearer of good news. Okay, but unfortunately, the answer is no. We don't have any plans. It's a short answer. Of course, it's something that we really enjoyed. We had thought it would be something that would get bigger. It actually was really fun for a dedicated and very passionate user base. So I think the passion people had, it indicates that we had something right there. And part of it is finding how we can take that and now make it into something that kind of works. Because one of the challenges with Twitch Strings was it was rather expensive in terms of the rights and the licensing and all that. And so it wasn't something that was sustainable. But I appreciate all the passion people had with Twitch Things. And I think part of it is this opportunity actually to collaborate, because Twitch Things got you a way to be on screen with other streamers. So I think I use that as motivation for thinking of other things that build upon that same motivation.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. It was a really good way to collaborate with other folks that you didn't know, which is super cool. All right, last one before we bring back Mike. They want to know, Gizmog1 wants to know, is there a plan to change the Twitch website UI?
I'm assuming Gizmog is talking about, given that we're changing the mobile app, will we? Because we're always kind of evolving the website UI, right? So I think what he's asking, is there a plan to make a big change to the website UI in line with what we're doing on mobile? And right now our focus, when we created the mobile app, we actually really just took the website and moved it over to mobile as opposed to building a site that was optimized for mobile. So the mobile improvement isn't turning around and doing the same thing, because I think the experience you want on a desktop is different than the experience you want on mobile. But some of the things that we've been doing on mobile will certainly inform how we can keep making the desktop better. There are certain things we've already been testing on the desktop. We're looking at bringing features such as stories and other things to the desktop. So there are a number of things that we'll be doing to continue to improve the desktop UI. All right. And with that, Mike's coming back up. And now I get to put him on the spot. And I can just sit back and look pretty. Okay.
All right. Yes, the bearer of good news, not the bad news guy.
Yeah. All right. So now, Mike, I don't want to be the only one to get tough questions where you have to say no. So I'm hoping, chat, you gave Mike some tough questions here. So
there'll be a few.
Let's see. GGGX. Why streamers can't set on their own the price of a subscription on their channels?
Yeah, it's a question that comes up often, and for at least the base subscription, where everybody is getting the same basic value proposition, which includes being a member of the community, using emotes, and for streamers that decide to, an ad-free benefit within their channel. So it's actually best for streamers for the service to manage the price, and I'll give you some reasons why. A is because we don't have any type of disincentives, if you will, to compete with other streamers in a given location. Everybody is working from the same starting point in terms of acquiring new subscribers. The other thing, using this price increase as a great example, like when your community says, hey, why is the price going up? You say, Twitch did it. I didn't do it. It's Twitch's fault, so to speak, in terms of making that decision. But the reason we can make that decision is because we can actually figure out the right optimum price to drive creator earnings. Pricing is tricky, especially when you have products like recurring subscriptions that are the same as a gift subscription, basically, but have a different value prop to streamers. And so us having the data, being able to look at what's the optimum price point, make adjustments as needed, is also best for streamers. And then the last point I would offer is because we allow streamers to set ad-free as part of their channel subscription, ad-free has a cost. And so that's another factor in terms of why we control pricing versus letting streamers set pricing.
I know I can tell you, having gone through all the work we did to assess this price increase, deciding price is actually not a fun job. When you had to come on here to talk about the price increase, you'd much rather come in and talk about all these new clips features that you're building. And I couldn't agree more with your statement about putting that on the streamer. Well, at first they might think, oh, that's good, but that puts pressure on the streamer when the streamer is engaging with their community. And I think that's a very difficult thing to put on the streamers. So I think that's a great point. Thank you, Mike. All right, Ray, I think you've got the next question.
Got the next one, still in line with the price increase. Heidi Coasty Wife asks, so with the increase, will you be giving us more emote slots to make it worth someone paying more?
Well, here's where I get to be the bearer of bad news. No, the value proposition of the subscription remains the same. It is all about supporting your streamer, being a member of the community, using the language via emotes. That's the value prop. We are not offering increased emote slots as part of the price increase. That being said, we'll look at it. I mean, I appreciate the input and the idea. Sub slots are relatively easy and free, but I don't think that really changes people's feeling about being a member of your community.
Well, Mike, I would expect you would point out that actually you had increased the number of emote slots previously without a price increase. So one can say we have significantly increased. And why don't you talk about that? Because I do think that's important to note.
Well, we've done a couple things in the animated emote slots, Dan, as I think is what you're referring to, what we announced at last TwitchCon. We expanded and greatly increased those both in the base as well as in the tier 2 and tier 3. And then we've reworked the subscription slots over time as well to ensure that a couple things are really important. A is you never go backwards based on your sub count, keep increasing. Once you unlock them, you keep them. And then we reset them to ensure, because it is really important for especially beginning streamers to have those emote slots to grow their community. So we have made adjustments over the years to increase those slots.
All right, Mike. So with Darth Xroni X, price increase, will it have impacts on events like September? What will happen to events like that with the price hikes?
Yeah, September is pretty unique in a couple of ways. One, it's something we've done for 7 years in a row now, and it has quite the expectation from a community perspective. We will do something for September. I know there's a meme out in the community that the joke will be we'll increase prices, and in September will be the old price. That's not actually our plan. We will have something more to say in terms of what our actual plan is soon, but that's not it. And then September is also unique in that the discount in that case is funded by Twitch, in that we ensure that the discount is paid completely by Twitch, and that is somewhat unique from a September perspective. But we'll have more to say about September soon. I'm working on those plans now.
Okay. All right. Well,
all right.
Dan,
Ray, I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to. Yeah, I've got this. Will Prime subs ever count for the Plus program?
Oh, are you answering it? You said you got it. I thought you wanted to answer it. So
No. I got it. Meaning I was going to ask it instead of Ray. Okay. No, you're going to answer it.
This is still for you, Mike. You're still on the hook.
Prime subs ever count for the Plus program?
Yeah, no changes. I'll just reinforce what we said when we launched the Plus program. It is really about focusing on recurring paid subscriptions as the foundation of streamer monetization on Twitch, and really rewarding, incentivizing creators that are, focused on live streaming as a significant part of their time and earnings. And neither the gift sub nor the Prime sub will likely count for Plus. We are not contemplating it. We're not thinking about it. We're confident in the decision we've made and the way we've designed the program.
All
right. Well, Mike, last question before we cut you loose and get on to our next person. Mills asks, will the change force existing subs to cancel and resub in July due to the price changing, or will it continue subs through that date?
Yeah, for the vast majority of subscribers, the sub will continue at the increased price. There are a few specific exceptions based on local laws, regulations, etc., that are different, and those viewers will be notified and specifically know that they need to resubscribe. But that's a very small percentage of total subscribers in specific countries. As an example, Romania.
All right. Good, Mike. Now I think we've got Jeremy coming up, right? Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Jeremy's back. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, look, come back.
So here we go, Jeremy. Black Gamer. Are there any plans to roll back the new Twitch app or letting people change back to the following tab as default?
So the quick answer to that, to answer the question, is no. We're going to continue to look at the feedback we're hearing from people. We're going to continue to make changes to make the experience better before we roll it out to more people. In general, I wanted to take a little bit of a moment to kind of explain why we are making these changes. Some of it comes down to, you may have heard from streamers that they talk about, they just don't feel like there's good discovery on Twitch. And part of that reason is because we make it so easy to get back to channels you follow. And with these changes, we're really trying to find a balance between continuing it for it to be simple, easy, and quick to get back to a channel you follow, at the same time making it even easier and quicker to discover new channels. So we're going to continue to play with that balance to find the right place. But ultimately, that's what we're aiming to find. And we're going to continue to iterate on this experience to make sure it's a great experience for all viewers.
Yeah, and since I know a lot of people haven't seen it because they're just hearing about it from other people, and for the person who asked this, I know initially some people weren't aware of this, and that's one reason we have to educate them. But if you like looking at your following, you follow channels, you tap in the upper left-hand corner, you get a list right away. It literally is just one extra tap, and then you can scan through. So it's actually very simple. I think one of the things is people didn't notice that. And so they didn't know how easy it was to get to the follow channel. And that's one thing. It's a perfect example of, as we do these experiments, we have to learn that so that way people know how easy it is. Because that's one thing we spent a lot of time. We said we have to make it easy that you can get to your follow channels. And so That's why it was built like that. So I think if you play around with it, you'll pretty quickly realize it's a very simple tap and you get the same list. So good question. All right, Ray.
Next one comes from Alomonti. They ask, could you add an option to whitelist followed channels from content filtering, even if they are in a filtered category?
That's a great question. And I mentioned earlier that follow channels are already exempt from filtering, and this is primarily in your followed list. So if you go to the following directory or left nav, I believe this question is specifically, hey, if I go to a directory, can my follow channel show up there? Currently, I do not believe that's currently in the plans. It's a good suggestion, but it's not the highest priority right now.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good question, but to make sure it's clear, in your following lists, they're still there. But I think that's a good suggestion and something we can look at. Yeah. All right. Chibi Manny, can we edit the clips category? This is very helpful when making a clip of a VOD, since they get locked with the initial category of the stream. I don't want to clip Mario Kart and have Genshin Impact locked as the category.
So this is not currently in the plans, but we saw a couple of people ask this question. I did want to take a moment to acknowledge that it's a really good suggestion and very valuable feedback. And I'm going to go back to the team and see if we can move towards this, because I think in general, yes, we want you to be able to change many of the aspects of from the initial clip so that you can get it into a spot that you want to share it, or you want, so it's got its best representation on Twitch. And I think this is, definitely fits into that category.
Yeah, and I'll just add, in general, we're continuing to invest in clips. And so there are other features that we'll think of too that helps to make sure this clip is an item that can, we can find the right people to see it. So, I think it's a really good suggestion.
Wonderful. Next question comes from Moonberry. Stories are amazing! ! Can we make it see who viewed our story?
So I'm getting lots of great product suggestions and unfortunately lots of bad news. So yes, right now you can only see the list of people who like or react to your story. You can see the number of people who viewed it, but not the explicit list. Currently not in our plans, but again, really good suggestion. And it's certainly something that we'll consider for the future.
Yeah, if you haven't put it on user voice, maybe consider putting it on user voice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, it's actually one we've heard. So asking here, it's in the queue, so you don't have to feel like to put it in user voice. We got it in the queue.
Don't let them off
and
the
I
hook,
know
Dan.
it's one that
Don't
Dreamer
let them
asked me to.
Go to user voice.
No, it is, but I don't want them to feel like we aren't hearing it here. I don't want them to feel like, sorry, we can't hear your suggestion unless you put it in user voice. These suggestions are heard from all channels. All right. I think we are ready now to go with Trevor. So, Jeremy.
All right, thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks a ton.
Welcome back, Trevor.
Thank you.
All right, Trevor, let's jump in. Flash Hound. May we have more features to moderating chats? And if so, when would we see them being added?
Yeah. The good news is that my team is dedicated to bringing out moderation features all the time. And if there are specific features that you'd like to see, I know we just said we're listening here, and you don't need to go to user voice, but do go to user voice. We're always looking at that, and I'll probably be back in a month or two with some updates for you.
Ooh, all right. Excellent. Next question comes from Cosmic Rose. Please make the mod tools button bigger for mobile devices to prevent mistakes. Thank you. I mean, it wasn't a question, but there you go. There's a statement for you.
Yeah, I appreciate the statement. I had been spending some time considering how we could make moderating for mobile less error prone, and that's definitely something that I'd like us to improve.
Yeah, good suggestion. All right, Kathy Gamery T. Would there ever be a way to make people reread the rules if they have many timeouts?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. So you can manually warn people now to make them reread the rules using the feature I was just talking about. But I kind of think that the person who asked this might have been looking for a way to automatically send out a prompt to make people reread the rules if they have a couple timeouts on their account. That isn't something that I had considered before, but it's a good idea, and it's something that we'll look into for sure.
Yeah. I will say, I think at the time of the warning and all that, it's actually a good time, because the reality is so often people see they're going to chat, they don't read the rules right when they're about to chat. They click OK quickly, and or they don't remember because it's been a while. And so I think that is a good suggestion. All right, let's see. And I think now we're ready for Mike Suzuki. So thank you, Trevor.
All right, Trevor, I appreciate you for being here. We'll see you in a couple months then. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you both.
All right, take it easy. All right, we got some questions for Mike Suzuki, other Mike. Okay, let's see. Kim for the day asks,
let's go.
Will the power-ups be able to be edited by moderators/editors?
Yeah, so unfortunately at launch, only streamers will be able to edit power-ups for their channels, but once we launch, we will be monitoring this and monitoring the feedback to see if we need to build something in the future. So thanks for the feedback. Yeah, this is something we will look into depending on the frequency of the feedback that we get.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Good, Mike. Spillmaker. Will the full screen effects of this new feature overlay on the ads, or will ads be paused for the user who cheered?
Yeah, so if an on-screen celebration is purchased but an ad is playing, it will show for everybody who doesn't have an ad actively playing. So we are exploring how we can pause the celebration or prevent the purchase of it until the ad is over to try to minimize interruptions. So that'll be something that we explore following launch.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it's a great call out. Now, I think in general, it's probably unlikely that that's when people will do it, but it is a timing where you might do it, and then the ads come on. You want to see the celebration, so I think that's a great idea of trying to make sure it doesn't occur. You want to see the celebration when you did it, so I think that's a good question, good suggestion. All right, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yes. Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And but we got to start wrapping up the show.
Yeah. Let's see. So there were a lot of questions here, and I just want to say sorry we could not get to all of them. Let's see. One thing. Let's see.
You see when you
Let me go ahead. There's one thing that we didn't put. One thing we didn't put in the list, but I know it happened recently, and someone just asked about this in the chat, and we didn't have it in the list. And they asked about what about the VTuber VR chat content issues going on now? Will there be a more comprehensive standard? And I just wanted to explain some because for those who didn't know, there had been some updates in enforcement regarding requiring attire guidelines for people using VR chat. We didn't announce this with the content change, so people were being impacted. They didn't know this. I think the whole area is a tricky area. Of course, VR chat is a game. GTA roleplay is a game where you have a lot of control over what your avatar may be doing. I think this is one of these things that there is logic in terms of similarities between VTubers and VR chat. And then there's also similarities between VR chat and other things. So I think this is an area where we didn't feel like the change that they had made quite got it right. So that's why we went ahead and reverted it, because it was having an impact and we didn't message it appropriately. But I understand that, this whole area in virtual reality is an area with a lot of complexity. I do encourage you, if you are streaming stuff that you think should have a sexual theme label on it because of the content and you're in a virtual world, you should and can still apply the CCL label. Because that should be applied if your content is sexually themed. And so this is something we're going to keep looking at to try and figure out the right way to strike the right balance, especially with respect for labeling and other things. So, I was paying attention to a lot of the feedback, and I wanted to go ahead and mention that since I did see the question in there.
Well, thank you for answering that, Dan. And hey, there you go. You heard it directly from Dan, the CEO. So, Dan, speaking of other things that you are directly, working towards, hey, we know that tickets are on sale right now for TwitchCon EU, which you are clearly making your progress to. So, I'm excited for TwitchCon EU. I will be there, of course, with the Creator Camp helping to teach y'all and learn from y'all and have a good time. But Dan, you got any enticing information you want to share with the folks about TwitchCon EU?
Well, so to be clear, tickets are on sale for both TwitchCons.
That is true.
Okay, so this will just be my pitch for TwitchCon for those that are on the fence or thinking about it. I've yet to meet a streamer that goes to a TwitchCon and doesn't come back with a giant smile on their face, or to a viewer that doesn't come back with a giant smile on their face. There are a lot of wonderful things about Twitch and the communities that we build. There's something about that occurring in real life because the community experience is really special. And I go back to my first TwitchCon, where the way I think of it is just everyone is flying their colors at TwitchCon. People just feel comfortable to be who they are. They have a sense of belonging, and there's something special to be seeing these people that you spend all this time with in chat, but now you get to engage with in person. So I'm very excited about TwitchCon on both EU and San Diego. For me, it's the highlight, both of them the highlight of my year. As I mentioned, I'm now making my way up there, and I did this because I know not everyone gets to make it to TwitchCon. And I wanted to, the other thing is it's crazy and hectic and magical at TwitchCon. And so by spending some time with some streamers in the towns in which they live, I get to know them better in a more relaxed, calm environment. But encourage you, if you're at TwitchCon, I know I'll be wandering around the floor a lot. Come up, say hi, give me your card, give me your sticker. If you want to collaborate, I'll be IRL streaming. Love to do that. Love to see you at TwitchCon EU. It's going to be a blast, and love to see you in San Diego.
Wonderful. I mean, I'll be there. I'll be masked up having a good time. Let me tell you. And man, I can't wait. My first TwitchCon was also magical. It was a chance that I took. I was like, let me see what this is about. Genuinely changed my life. And I'm not even like in a weird internet facetious way, like genuinely changed my life. I loved everything about it. And here we are years later, which is amazing to think about. So consider TwitchCon. It's a lot of fun. I see Barry's in chat. Barry will be there. And so will a lot of other folks. But hey, we got a lot of thanks to do for folks today. Thank you, chat, for being here and asking questions. I really appreciate y'all because you take the time to be here to learn more, to actually be invested in what's happening. So thank you so much for being here. But also thanks to Mike Mitten, thanks to Jeremy, thanks to Trevor, and thanks to Mike Suzuki, and also thanks to you, Dan, for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to be here and talk with the chat and talk with us and make sure that these things are talked about, honestly. So thank you very, very much to all of you. All right. So
well, hold on. There's one person who hasn't been thanked, Ray.
I'm about. Oh, it's not Zach, but I want to thank everybody else.
That's you, Ray.
Oh, wait, me?
That's you, Ray. That's you, Ray. So thank you, Ray, for always bringing the energy. Always bringing the energy, and it's really great. And so it's always great to host you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you at TwitchCon.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a highlight of my job. Like, genuinely, I really do enjoy this. I love being able to talk with the community and help inform the community about stuff that is important. All of this is very important. So I appreciate the folks who are here for both good and bad reasons. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for saying that. I love what I do. And I love that I get to do this. So,
and I just realized, Ray, I did not plug at TwitchCon. As I've started to do the last two, I'm going to close the show by having a Twitch Jams on the Kappa stage. And so, Ray, you need to show up, man.
I'll be there.
You need to put that on your damn card. Okay.
I'll be there.
And the Twitch Jams for the on the Kappa stage. So that should be fun.
It will be a great time, and I'm excited for it. So, Dan, anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
I think I've plugged away. I'm plugged as plugged can be. So, check out. I'm going to post. I need to post my schedule. I will post it on Twitter. The schedule with the streamers that I'm gonna be with tomorrow. I'm making a PC.
Ooh.
And that should be fun. And I will say it's been really fun to meet all the streamers, and it's fun to see the different streamers in Europe. And see what they're doing. So, hopefully people stop by to just get a sense for some of the amazing streamers we have in Europe.
Beautiful. Well, we will be doing a raid. We're going to be raiding the Alivus Sanctuary. I probably just ruined that word, but you know what? It's okay.
Alveus. It's Alveus. You really did ruin it,
I
right?
ruined that word. You know, words are hard. Okay.
Alveus.
Alveus Sanctuary. We love to see it. Well, then, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Chad.
Somebody clip that. Maya,
don't clip
it.
that.
Dan.
Don't clip that.
Yeah, clip that. Clip it. No, clip it.
All right, let's get out of here. Cut the cameras. All right, bye, y'all. Thank you for being here. I'll see y'all at TwitchCon. Happy Pride, and take care of yourselves. Let's go do that raid. Have a good time. All right, bye.